Today, I wanted to talk about something that hits me every day. I don't live in China anymore, but I didn't leave because I wanted to. I left because I was left without any possibility to enter the country for 2 years. And of course, this has influenced my life and my career. And after that, I just gave up. So in this video, I'm going to tell you my story, why I cannot live in China anymore. But the good news is that I still managed to find a place where I can work, where I can develop myself, my career, and this place is not Europe, this place is Dubai. So make sure to stick till the end of this video, and now let's get started. Now, I'm not going to talk about why I was living in China, why I speak Chinese, because I've already made an entire video about that. So I'm just going to explain you like why I left China. Basically, 6 years ago, I decided to start my university in China, and I decided to go for Shanghai International Studies University. So what I did, it was a bachelor's degree, because obviously like I was finishing my high school, I was 19, and then I right away started in Shanghai. So I was studying a bachelor in political science and public administration, and also had like the very good idea of doing a double degree. So I also have a degree in journalism. Now, bachelors in China don't work like in Italy. For Italy, you just have to do it for 3 years and then you graduate. I think also like maybe in the United Kingdom, it's just 3 years and then you graduate. In China, it's actually 4 years. So of course it was longer. Of course it was more difficult because I was studying political science completely in Chinese, because I could already speak Chinese when I was 17 years old. So basically before finishing my high school, I could already speak Chinese. That is why like my course was like very difficult, and my class was full of Chinese people. So of course I had to keep it up the same as them. I was the only foreigner. So what happened is that I went to Shanghai, I started my studies, I finished my first year of university, and then of course COVID happened. So once COVID happened, I went home. Before COVID happened, actually, I went home because I wanted to go there just for a vacation, but then this vacation ended up being a 2 years vacation. And of course, I was not allowed to go back to China because visa were not being issued. And yes, I understand the situation. I understand the fact that, like you have to control the situation all over the world. You have to, of course, like protect your country from, people coming from outside and everything. But for me, that felt like a betrayal, because I was thinking about doing those 4 years in China, and that's it. Like it would have been much easier if I would have been 4 years there. In the end, I ended up being in China only for 2 years, because the first year was the first year of university, and then after these 2 years of COVID, basically, I ended up going back for my fourth year of university. So for my last year, finally, I was able to go to China. Now, the most important years of university, of course, one is the first one, and then the second and the third. The fourth one is not that important because you're just writing your thesis, and that is not like difficult. But when you have classes from the first to the third year, you have so many classes. You have like 15 classes per week, and I was not there. The professors were like very bad. They were not helping us at all. I would ask for books, for materials, they were not helping. So for me, it was kind of, heartbreaking, because I've always dreamed, like when you are a little kid, you always dream to go to university one day, to live this pre-adult life. And it was also exciting, but I couldn't realize it. Like I couldn't achieve what I actually wanted to achieve. Now that I talk about it, it's like it's just an experience that has happened. That's it. But when I really stop myself and think, like, actually, this has happened, and I was so sad, I was so angry. Then what has happened is that on top of that, after I graduated, I found out that I couldn't stay in China because basically, if you have a bachelor's degree, you have to have 2 years of work experience basically to start and to get a work visa. So basically you cannot get it immediately. Instead, if you get a master's degree, you can directly start applying for the visa and work in China. And this thing again for me was another betrayal because I could speak Chinese so well, and many people with their master's degree, they could not even speak one word of Chinese. So I was like, why is it like this? Like, I got a bachelor's degree, yes, it's correct, but I got it in China, I didn't get it in Italy, right? And those people with master's degree, maybe they have never been in China, still, like, they were allowed to stay in China more than me. So after graduation, I was like, okay, I cannot live in China, I have to find another way of doing things. So what I did, I went back home for the summer, and then I started looking for a job in Europe, because as you might know, I'm Italian. So I was like, okay, after like being 1 year far away from my family, might be the right time, to find something either in Germany or in France, or somewhere here in Europe, so that it might be like even easier for us to stay together, like me and my family. So in the end, I ended up getting this job at Huawei, which basically it's a Chinese company. I was so happy because of course it's a multinational company. The salary was good and everything, but at the same time I was living in Budapest, so it was in Hungary, it was not in Germany. And by the way, I truly think that Budapest is much better than Germany, because I've also been to Germany. So I think I prefer it for the weather and everything, but still, it was very cold. Like when it came winter, I was freezing cold, and I have never experienced this kind of cold. So perhaps it was for the cold, it was for the people at the same time that I didn't quite enjoy the country. At the same time, I have to say Budapest is a very beautiful capital, is a very beautiful city, and I think I would have stayed even better in it if I would have had many friends. Now, why I didn't have many friends? Well, of course, because I could not speak Hungarian. Why I didn't learn Hungarian? It was because I already knew that I was not going to stay in this city much. And because like I'm more of a cosmopolitan girl, like I like to go to like very big cities like Shanghai. I cannot stay in very small cities like Budapest. So what happened is that I decided to move to Dubai, and in order to move to Dubai, I was like, okay, let me see if Huawei needs me in Dubai. So again, I applied for coming here in Dubai, and they accepted me with a much higher salary. I was like so happy. So you can see from here, and I will explain you much better later, like even like later in the years, that actually Chinese is helping me a lot with all this, changing jobs and stuff, because Chinese is pretty much requested. So what I did is basically that I did my education in China for university, for 1 year of high school and everything. I learned Chinese, and then I'm using Chinese wherever I go. Of course, like I feel pretty much connected to China. I'm more connected to China than Budapest or Dubai or whatever city it is, because I've traveled to so many cities in the world. But still, like, Chinese food is my favorite, Chinese language is my favorite. Although I speak Spanish, English, Italian, Chinese is what I really love to speak. I'm really amazed by myself when I speak Chinese, I don't know why. So yes, I live and breathe Chinese people, Chinese culture, China in general. and it's never going to be the same, like not even in Dubai. But I truly believe that Dubai is a little bit more free, like as a society, as a country. I mean, Dubai is not a country, it's a city. But what I want to say, like, this country is much more free. You will see like 80% of the population is composed by foreigners, maybe even like 90% of the population. So from here, you will understand that people are pretty much the same to you. Even if they're coming from the other side of the world, there will still be like those people who come from far away, who are far away from their family, and who are experiencing your same struggles. Now, I want to bring you a little bit back to what I was telling you before. I was telling you that after my bachelor's, I should have had completed 2 years of work experience in order to go back to China. Now, I graduated in 2023 and now we are in 2025. So basically, those 2 years are already completed. Like now, if I want, I can apply and go to China again and work there. But I decided to actually not do this because, like, I want a very stable life. I don't want that I start something and then something happens and then somebody kicks me out of the country. No, I absolutely, like, I think nobody wants like that. I need stability. I need a market where I have to study, I have to learn, and then I have to specialize in it in order to make those big monies. And I'm telling you, you might think that this is just a joke. It's not, because, for example, like if you want to come to the UAE, to the United Arab Emirates, and you want to work in Dubai, many companies, they will ask you for UAE experience, which means you have to have 1 year, 2 years, 5 years of work experience here in the Emirates in order to get the job at that company. So of course, like, if you want to do something, if you want to grow, actually, if you don't want to stay always on the same level, you have to actually stay in that country and grow in that country. Otherwise, if you do like a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit, you're not going to grow. This is why, like, I'm like, okay, I will stay here in Dubai. I think this is the country that I want, like the United Arab Emirates. Hungary, unfortunately, was not for me. It was still like a very nice experience that I really have enjoyed, because apart from Italy before, I had never been living in other European countries, although like I've been to many countries in Europe. Now, would I recommend you guys to go to China? Of course, this was just, a story that I wanted to share with you guys. I hope you understand my point. Like, I really love China and I will go back eventually one day, but as of now, it's not the right time to go. And I'm so sure that I'm going to go back for so many times, just for traveling. Maybe, I don't know, I will get a job there eventually because I'm going to miss it so much. But for now, I'm so sure that Dubai is much better, also in terms of earnings. You will earn more money here and you will get more paid vacation, which is like very, very important, right? So now, if you have enjoyed this video, then you have to watch this one here where I explain you how I learned Chinese in only 8 months, 8 years ago, and I'll see you there. Bye bye.